If you like the video right now, this helicopter will be outside your house. What screams I live on daddy's money? People who claim to be financially independent, but have never had a job. Independent from financially making any contribution. I'll give them this though. Rich kids are a great way to siphon money from rich daddies and spread it out among the common people. When princess buys shoes, money goes to the shoe store. When she eats out every breakfast, lunch, and dinner, the restaurants get some of that money. Plus sales tax. Really, there is no better way to pry the money from a Wall Street mogul quite as well as his kids. So, we need more high spending spoiled brats. A friend of mine I met at school has ridiculously rich parents and has never had a job in her life. Her parents not only pay for her $3,000 a month apartment, but she also miraculously has money to blow whenever we go out. She eats out every day, is always buying new clothes, and even just bought a new Louis Vuitton bag on her trip to abroad. While we've been friends only about 2 years, she just got her first job at a popular clothing store, working 15 hours a week, and worked there for about 2 months before deciding to quit because it was too draining with school. I keep telling her it's gonna be hard to find a career with little to no actual work experience. I hate to tell you this, but her parents will likely have a job lined up for her. I hate to tell you this, but her parents likely have a trust fund set up for her, and she's not gonna have to work a single day. Had an employee once who was fresh out of grad school. Paid him $60K. He drove a brand new $120K Mercedes, lived in a 4K/month penthouse, wore all bespoke clothing, etc etc. His salary was definitely a blip on his financial radar. It was wild. I cannot go out tomorrow. I have to work. Just tell your boss that you want to do it. Don't be afraid of him. Who does he think he is? It happened to me. He works in his father's company. When they don't understand financial restrictions. There have been a few people I've met who never really thought about not having enough money to do something. Anything from fixing a car to going out to eat. If you say you can't do something because you're broke, and they respond with, just put it on your credit card, they are likely a candidate. I don't understand how people can't travel. Someone a while ago was complaining that people always think they are rich just because they complain about how tired they are of going to Europe with the family. Yeah, dingus. If you're bored of going to a foreign country/continent because you've been there so often, you're rich. I just backpacked and got jobs when I was in Europe. Well, not everyone has that luxury, weed. And the fact is that it costs money to go to Europe, and some people don't have that. Like, let me just sell all my belongings so I can buy just the plane ticket to go to Europe. A friend who doesn't really work much has never made more than probably around $100,000 per year. His wife, who hasn't worked in 6 years and worked as an admin type person for maybe 3 to 4 years prior to having kids. They are currently building a multi-million-dollar home. Oh yay, her dad owns an oil company. I used to know a girl who always complained about handouts and lazy poor people and pointless charities. I found out the Mustang she drove was a gift from her father. Her parents paid her rent, and her high-paying job was at her mom's company. She honestly didn't see any of that as charity. She got the car, job, and apartment because she's so amazing and deserves it, obviously. God, I absolutely hate people like that. People who don't work for what they have/never worked a day in their life should not even speak out about people living on the streets. They would be on the streets if it wasn't for their parents. I pity them, as they will never value or enjoy stuff like warm water. It's one of the most important lessons my parents taught me, value. Also, this leads me to hate the parents as they spoiled the girl, and not her cause she would have a different nature if phrased properly. An old co-worker of mine, who was a super nice guy, never made any higher than $40K. He was able to buy a house while his wife stayed home with his son, got a brand new Lexus every 2 years or so, posts pictures of him on traveling on planes all the time in first class and/or a private jet. His first year at work he talked to us like all of this common, but I think he learned pretty quickly to keep quiet about his privileged life. Was this because of his parents, or because he just goes into mega debt? Parents' money. There is no way he'd have been able to get a loan for a house and all those cars with his salary. I used to work with a guy years ago. We were both in our mid-20s and both working in junior white-collar jobs, making around the same pay. So while it was okay money, it wasn't amazing. This guy was buying his third home in as many years. Like, he already owned 2, lived in one, rented out the other, nice houses, and was buying a third and keeping the other 2 to build a mini property portfolio. When I told him that my wife, who also worked a white-collar job, and I couldn't afford a down payment, he responded, "Just ask your family for the money." That's what I do. When I responded that they didn't have the kind of money, and b, even if they did, we weren't comfortable doing that, he just couldn't understand it. He was visibly confused because it was outside his little bubble. I, 30F, just started to date a guy not too long after I lost a job. I took a roommate in to help me pay the rent, and he got mad. Said that he will be less comfortable because of the privacy and couldn't understand that I put money before the relationship. I said that I will not spend on $500 a month and that I won't be able to pay. His solution: ask money from my parents and wait a couple of months till he moves in and saves me. After a fight, I mostly discover that he still lived in his parents' home at 30. His whole shtick about travel is my philosophy suddenly seemed less cool. I broke up that week. Travel is my philosophy. Expensive holidays and shitty job, it's one of the biggest red flag for 30s. They live on daddy money, or even worse, they don't understand what adult life is. No plans for future/savings. Their goal, it's only the next vacation. Not understanding the schedule restrictions due to having a part-time job, or not being able to understand why you can't stay out late because you have to get up for work at 5 AM for a job that doesn't pay enough to count for the gas it would take to drive all over town all night. So many people seem genuinely confused about people who don't work Monday through Friday 9 to 5 jobs. Like they benefit from all the work that the non-9 to 5s do: retail, hospitality, healthcare, transit, food service, but somehow never connected the dots that the people providing those services are still people who are working for a living. Right? I think that disconnect is also what leads to treating those retail, hospitality people, etc. like garbage. I have a friend who told me he has distant cousins who live off a trust fund that pays them 10 grand a month each, and they're having trouble getting by. If you're really dumb with money, you could make that money disappear like that. You should listen to some podcasts about lottery winners sometime. People manage to spend $100 million inside a year if they don't die first. Heck, there was that Pro Bowl player who spent $1 million of his for at the strip club his first year. Pro Bowl players and lottery winners have like a 75% bankruptcy rate inside 5 years. Being a Chinese national and going to a UK university, I mean not all of them, but like most. The cars, the clothes, these kids are ducking kept. Same here in Australia. The fees for international students are so exorbitant that you can guarantee that any international student you see is at least very comfortable, if not outright wealthy. I'm talking like $40k or a year up front in tuition fees alone. Throw in another $20-30k per year for living expenses, and you are looking at well over $150k over the course of a 3-year degree. Even the good students who study hard and don't live lavishly are still going to be very well off relative to their compatriots in their home country. Your first car at 16 is a Mercedes or any luxury cars. You are 27, jobless / still live at your parents' and show off your expensive purses / shoes / clothes and lifestyle on Instagram. Duck, dude, I wish I had parents whose house I could live at. I'd save up a down payment on a house in no time. And if a man slaves his life away in order to own a house, why is it that our culture makes it so the children cannot stay there and reap in the benefits? Families should really stick together, assuming they're not shitty and abusive. I live in a relatively high-income community, and I'll see teenagers with Rolexes and all-us Jeeps joyriding on the main road. It's no fun to be near them. Ordering in 3 dishes at a restaurant and then eating 1/3 of each. Yes, I eat a restaurant in New York City for special occasions, few times a year, where I have seen girls do this. I knew a guy, oh boy, we went to town to go shopping for some things, and he parked his car in a no parking spot. I told him that he couldn't park there and he said, "Sure I can. It just costs me 370 euros. I've never been that baffled by a response before in my life. They just got a prime spot on the Slytherin Quidditch team and everyone else on the team just happens to have the latest Nimbus brooms. Wait till his father hears about this." Thanks for watching. Drop a like, leave a comment, and don't forget to subscribe. And yes, this is a free outro template, you plebs.